Hey, Granny Gear here for Old Guy on a Bike. Well, it's 2024, but I'm still wrapping up some 2023 items, and some of that is cycling kit that I used last year and really enjoyed. I'm going to bring 3 of those things to you in this video, and you know, everybody needs clothing to ride their bikes in because you shouldn't cycle naked. So let's talk about your feet and keeping your feet happy. And keeping your feet happy while riding a bicycle means you need socks. And you'd think, well, socks are socks, aren't they, right? Now, I'm not talking those white gym socks you used to wear back in high school. Oh, you can't wear those on a bike. No, you certainly can't. And I'm not talking about fancy $100 Aero socks either, but just general good everyday socks. And sometimes that might be for a gravel ride where it's a little messy, or maybe it's just a hot summer road ride. Keeping the right sock on your feet that breathes well, that doesn't produce blisters, etc., man, if you can get that right, you're going to have some happy feet. And I've found mint socks over the last year kept my feet very happy. And you know, mint socks, that's a small business, USA-based, woman-owned business. She's very creative, and she puts out a very, very high-quality product. This sock here, this is made in Italy with Italian materials. And let me tell you something. When you go for one of the cheaper socks that you might get in a bag, you know, from AliExpress or online from Amazon, and you put one of these on, it's like giving your feet an Italian hug. It's more like putting on, if you ever put on a nice dress sock, that's what this feels like. Now they come in different lengths, different colors from mild to wild. She's very creative. And here's the thing too, she'll have a color scheme for a while, it'll be gone, it'll never come back, and something new will take its place. So as you stop by once in a while, you know, to check in with Mint, you'll find that she's always got something new for you. Now, I've also used the merino wool. The merino wool here, I have this kind of for the cold days. I've been using these actually down into the 40s, and with toe covers on the road bike, these have been surprisingly warm. They're not very thick, but they're warmer than an average sock, and I love a merino wool blend. These have been awesome. They're not cheap, $25 to $30 at the time of this video, depending upon which fabric blend and whatnot. But I'm telling you, when you put these on your feet and you go ride with them, all that cost, that's just going to fade away. You're just going to enjoy having some very happy feet. Mint socks, check them out. So let's talk about something a little bigger. Let's talk about jerseys and bibs and more. Now, I don't know if you priced good cycling clothing lately. It is not cheap. You can easily spend $250 for a pair of bibs, a couple $100 for a jersey. Not a problem at all. And you know what? Those are beautiful pieces of clothing most of the time. I've used Castelli, I've used Assos, I've used other Rafa, etc. Some have been better than others, but generally speaking, I felt like I did get my money's worth. But it's a lot of money. And right now, if you could get good quality and not spend as much, well, in today's economy, that wouldn't be a terrible thing, would it? Now, if you go online, maybe Amazon or AliExpress, etc., you can get some amazing prices for cycling clothing. The thing is, what I've seen as I've seen it on people is the material is poor quality, it's not as breathable, it's not as comfortable, and the fit sometimes leaves a whole lot to be desired. But if you're happy with the lowest price, that's out there for you. But what about something in the middle? What about something that has good quality and good fit and yet doesn't break in your bank? Well, that just might be Neopro. How about a jersey like this, race cut, with nice fabrics for 50 bucks or so? How about a nice pair of bibs for 60 bucks? Basically, 100 bucks or so, and some change and shipping and whatnot, for a nice pair of bibs and a jersey. But are they nice for that much? Well, it turns out that they are. Now, the jersey you see me wearing, that bright orange beauty, That's an XL. I am 6'2", about 175 pounds right now, post-Christmas. And I found that the XL jersey was about the right fit for me, still quite snug and yet not compressive. I tried a large and it was awfully tight across my shoulders. Fit me fairly well everywhere else, but when I zipped it up to the neck, it wasn't so good. So the extra large is for me. The large bib shorts are good. I probably could wear a medium, but the large hasn't been giving me a problem and they're very comfortable. The chamois has been good quality, actually. I think I pushed these into a couple 6-hour rides and I rode them through the summer into difficult, hot and humid conditions. They did not let me down. I never squirmed. I've washed all the stuff. I always line dry or hang dry things, but I've washed them. They've come out fine. The only thing I can say negative about the shorts is the cuff at the bottom of the leg that keeps it from crawling up your thigh. When you look at it, it's slightly crude looking to me. It reminds me of what shorts used to look like years ago. I'm used to looking at something that's like a flat seam where you don't see a transition. And this is a little bit unattractive in a sense, in that way. It didn't bother me when I wore it, but on the other hand, if it wasn't there, it would look better. Now, for that money, am I gonna complain? No, because the rest of the function of this was awesome. Oh, and by the way, I do get these are the onyx colored cargo bibs because I have really come to enjoy having a pocket on the side of my shorts. I find that so useful. Maybe even just putting my car keys while I'm getting ready or my phone, but riding with snacks and stuff. So far, NeoPro has been an absolute win for me, and I plan on trying out some of their base layers and some other things because so far, I'm very happy. Thanks, NeoPro. This is the Ornot Microclimate Jacket, and it has been my constant companion from the fall through winter so far. It is the best outer garment I've ever used for the conditions I ride in. It's very light, it's stowable, it's very stretchy so you can layer under it very effectively. It keeps the wind out very, very well. It insulates better than any windbreaker I've ever owned. It sheds water fairly effectively. Now it's not a rain jacket, but I got caught in a pretty good downpour and at 25-mile-an-hour downhill for a few miles. I had to get out of the storm. I was wearing this. At the end of it, yes, it is soaked through a little bit on the front of the sleeves and the shoulders, but I wasn't soaked and actually did quite well. And the water resistance in this is built into the fabric. It's not a coating, so it doesn't wear off. Now, Ornot designed this to be used in that Bay Area. They're up from the San Francisco area. And like me, it could be, they could have wide temperature swings. It could be 50 degrees and foggy down along the coastline and freezing, 70 degrees and sunny in the mountains above the city. I find the size large fits me very, very well. Sleeves are long. It's just about the right amount. Their sizing chart is actually very accurate. One of the things I love about this is the way it's able to ventilate. Now, a couple things to know about ventilation. Any jacket-like garment is not going to keep up with a rider that's working really hard, like in a long, hard climb. You're gonna put out enough moisture and body heat and such where you're gonna overwhelm the fabric. It is just not gonna keep up. If you want something to be totally breathable in that situation, well, have your mom knit you a sweater. Because other than a knitted sweater, a jacket just is not gonna be able to keep up. So what you need to be able to do is to ventilate effectively. That's where this two-way zip comes in. The two-way zip allows you to zip up from the bottom and yet keep the jacket connected together, like this. Now, that's a whole lot of ventilation. And yet, all I've got to do to put it back together, I can ride one-handed and just zip the jacket back up, like so. So here's the thing too, keep in mind with zipping and unzipping a jacket, if you unzip it from the top down, to ventilate, sure, you're getting air in, but you're not really getting air out very well because you end up being a kind of like a parachute, especially if you're riding fairly fast. And parachutes are not very aerodynamic, are they? No, they're rather slow. However, if you can unzip from the bottom and ventilate really well like this jacket does, well, spreads around your body, and you end up being more of a flag than a parachute. And that is pretty awesome. And one zip, and it's closed. Now, another thing to keep in mind when it comes to breathability is how well your outer garment allows the moisture to get out over time. Now, in this jacket, for instance, I'll open it up, but I'm still getting some heat and moisture buildup, some sweat, you know, in the sleeve area and parts of my body. And there, now it's time for the descent. I'm going to close the jacket up, then I'm just going to ride back to the end of the ride. Maybe the ride's easier, I'm pedaling back to coffee, you know, whatever. At the end of the ride, how much of that moisture has been able to get out? What I have found with the Ornot microclimate, time I get back to the end of the ride, as long as the pace was reasonable, I am pretty dry, as long as my base layer is doing its job of getting the moisture off of my skin. The jacket seems to be able to allow that moisture to pass outside. The Ornot microclimate jacket is not cheap. $230, that's quite a bit of money. However, it's not very often that I find a product that matches the performance of all the stuff that the manufacturer says about it. It matches the ad copy. It actually does all the things they say that it would do. And I am really, really happy about that. I would buy this again in a heartbeat. Ornot, you guys rock. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm starting to try and wrap up all the 2023 stuff, moving into 2024. We'll see you down the road in the next video. And as always, go ride your bikes. Oh, and about that cycling naked thing, I don't recommend it. Ask me how I know.